Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, Urban Renewal workers continue to go house by house in the Bain and Grantstown area as they continue their campaign to rid the area of all the factors which have and continue to contribute to crime. And they scored a big one today, demolishing a home that has not only made the area unattractive, but attracted the kind of activity police want to stomp out. Fern Carey has more.
The discovery of 4 pounds of marijuana in 2 abandoned houses in Bain and Grantstown Monday, prompting police to move quickly to crush the foothold for drug peddlers. BC workers were called in to disconnect electrical wires to the structures, and moments later, a tractor arrived to demolish the houses. Urban Renewal Coordinator Superintendent Stephen Dean says the initiative plays a pivotal role in reducing crime and the fear of crime in the community.
Right here, these buildings right behind us, just yesterday, based on intelligence, the police were able to come to this area where they were able to find a large amount of drugs in this building. We believe that the drugs is used by drug peddlers in these areas to sell drugs to our little children, to our residents. And so we believe that we have removed a big opportunity. We have put a dent in the drug peddlers' business yesterday.
A longtime Bain and Grantstown resident welcomed the initiative, noting that his lifestyle changed dramatically after drug peddlers took over the abandoned houses.
I go to church in the nighttime. I stopped going to church in the night times for the same reason. Because when you're passing here, you hear people talking, and then you can't see who talking and things like that. So I just stopped going to church in the night. Now I maybe could go to church in the nighttime.
The initiative is expected to be ongoing. Superintendent Dean gave this warning to drug pushers.
Every house that we take down is based on police intelligence. It's based on intelligence that criminal activity is inside the house or around the periphery of the house, as the case may be. But everything is based on police intelligence. We are not just randomly going through the country taking down homes. We're just taking that opportunity of crime as we move along.
Meantime, the vacant lots are expected to become green spaces. Fern Carey, ZNS News.
An awkward meeting of the minds today when owners of the numbers businesses here in New Providence met with pastors over the gambling debate as a referendum looms, putting the question to the electorate on whether the gambling should be legalized. The We Care Coalition, a group of gambling house operators, sought to convince the church leaders that there's more to the numbers business than meets the eye. Altaviz Munnings has this ZNS exclusive.
They've never met before. But Tuesday's initial top-level meeting between numbers owners and New Providence-based pastors that lasted for about 90 minutes clarified any misconceptions or concerns about the numbers business and the proposed referendum on gambling. The We Care Coalition listened attentively and respectfully to the concerns of the religious leaders. You see, these numbers business owners want to focus more on education rather than discrimination to ensure every Bahamian who may or may not participate in the referendum and attend thousands of churches across New Providence understand their work.
The pastors, they did express that they will not go out there and tell people to vote yes. But a lot of them said that they will not go there and tell people to vote no. They themselves will vote no for very obvious reasons. But they said they're not hypocritical, and they said that they know that the gambling does exist and it does go on amongst their members as well. As you know, we would probably make a lot more money if it wasn't legal. But I'm willing to give up the majority of it if need be for the greater good, because what's good is the money we make if we walk on the street and we're dead tomorrow.
Comparing the impact of numbers on the country to Junkanoo, the We Care Coalition, chaired by Sebas Bastian, fully supports the government's pending referendum. The group collectively employs 3,000 Bahamians, and an approved numbers business would lift the high level of uncertainty that clouds it.
The customers will basically feel much better because they're not locked up when they patronize these various businesses. And the employees, they're not discriminated when they go to banks for loans and different things. They no longer have to lie about where they work, and it's just gonna put closure to a lot of issues that it stems down from not just buying the number, but all the way down from the people that we rent from.
Now, the coalition's ultimate objective is to help with the social ills facing the country, particularly crime. For many years, they've anonymously contributed to those in need. The group also plans to pitch ideas to the government on regulating the industry.
People wake up, just go to bed just to dream about a number sometime. And everything revolves around a number, And I find myself sometimes driving behind a car, and if I see anything going on with the license plate, I feel like I want to buy that as well. To call it gambling is a derogatory word in a sense. It's more like cultural wagering, is what I would say.
Mount Calvary Baptist Church pastor Bishop Philip McPhee facilitated the meeting on Tuesday and is satisfied that both groups are on one accord.
We came here to hear the truth, and then later on from this meeting to go back to our congregations and give the truth to them so they will understand what this referendum is all about. So we would want them to encourage basically those who are not strong enough to resist going into a web shop early on Sunday morning. If they gotta go, let them come to church first. Maybe the sermon might prevent them from going later on.
The We Care Coalition hinted they believe the government's referendum on the numbers business and not gambling will happen in either October or November of this year. Altaviz Munnings, ZNS News.
Now, the We Care Coalition has reportedly been giving back to the community anonymously for quite some time, and with the government's proposed gambling referendum looming, the group will become more visible in its community outreach. Chairman Sebas Bastian outlined some of the initiatives on the agenda.
We're going to start off with a walk against crime that's going to come up in the upcoming weeks, as well as we have a gun buyback program that we're planning, that we're going to buy a lot of the guns off the street. So ourselves collectively, aside from numbers, whether it's legal or not legal, we feel that we have a mandate and we feel that we have an obligation because of the position we find ourselves in today to try and assist the government as much as possible in the fight against crime.
In other news tonight, emergency rescue teams in the country are shoring up their capabilities to handle all kinds of disasters. The latest training by the United States Northern Command gives response teams the capability to handle the worst disasters in the air and in water. Today, the official handover ceremony took place, signaling the successful completion of training and the donation of much-needed equipment to execute response missions. Clint Watson has more.
The tragic reminder of air and sea mishaps over the years prompted the National Emergency Management Agency to seek out ways to better respond to these kinds of disasters. NEMA's Director Captain Stephen Russell says the United States Northern Command responded to requests for assistance.
The islands of Abaco, Grand Bahama, and here in New Providence have benefited from the training and equipment that will aid in rescue efforts such as floodings, shoreline water, and urban search and rescue. If you're aware of the fact that what has occurred over the years with our hurricanes, we've always been impacted with floods and low-lying areas, and we've had difficulties in the past trying to rescue persons. So again, this is where it comes in handy with the equipment to help us rescue persons in those sort of predicaments.
Major General Francis Mahon of the Northern Command says while the program was sponsored and executed by the U.S., both sides benefited from the training.
We learned so much through that joint training. Both nations, both our operators and yours, by sharing our experiences and techniques. And that's the best thing about this program, is what we learn from each other. Together we can make a positive difference for our respective organizations, units, and citizens. We're working hard to extend the flood water rescue project with the Bahama National Emergency Management Agency into next year, and we hope it will be successful.
Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Works and Urban Development, Renwood Welch, says NEMA's role was important as they identified 3 of the most trafficked airports where the likelihood of an air mishap may occur. Coincidentally, just about all airstrips in the Bahamas are either near lake, sea, or swampland.
While the response from the various agencies have over the years been great, there are always lessons to be learned and more effective and innovative ways to further enhance our emergency response capabilities. Additionally, this particular training also gives rescue teams the ability to assist with urban search and rescue, flooding, or boating incidents near our coasts.
Among the 9 officers from Abaco, 11 from Grand Bahama, and 14 from New Providence receiving training were Royal Bahamas Defense Force Petty Officer Roll and Royal Bahamas Police Force Fire Services Officer Smith.
We learned a lot of new things on terms of dealing with rope, urban search, and shoreline search. We also was able to understand better use of the boat that is behind us.
We learned a lot of techniques that will help us, especially in the fire department also, that we could take back at the department and help my comrades. It was very interesting where the females, we pulled our weight, we were able to keep head to head, neck to neck with the gentlemen.
Now, there's still another shipment of equipment expected to come in. All of the officers have already been trained in the program and are ready to execute their training. We can tell you that the entire package is worth some $500,000. Clint Watson, ZNS News.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, the Christie and Hannah families lose a beloved member. That story's after the break.